So, off to Novigrad then?
Yeah, let's get going.
Let's go.
The oak is dead.
The oak, the crones. I fear that was your last feast.
What of our acorns?
Don't know, don't care.
You must learn to live without them.
This is no longer no man's land. It's no longer the lady's land. It's all yours.
But what are we to do?
Come, Geralt. It's time.
Manage. On your own.
Then non-humans. Thought it was mages the hunters and the temple guard were after.
Mages left. Hunters needed a new quarry. Hatred and prejudice will never be eradicated, and witch hunts will never be about witches. To have a scapegoat, that's the key. Humans always fear the alien, the odd. Once the mages had left Novigrad, folk turned their anger against the other races. And as they have for ages, branded their neighbors their greatest foes.
Dundee Lion! Ready some tankards! With guests!
Geralt! Ciri! When I learned Geralt had found you,
Glad to see you in one piece too, Dandelion.
Where have you two been?
Just finished hunting down the crones of Velen and a general of the Wild Hunt.
Well, you've had a busy morning then, haven't you?
in fact, you look terrible. Like you could really use some rest.
Gladly take some. Point me to a room.
Of course. Come on, little swallow. I'll take you.
Let's meet later, Geralt. I've a little matter to resolve. I'll freshen up, then await you in the square in Gildorf.
Right.
Pretty Polly came down with a fever, that oyster caught a knife between the ribs, and they're late delivering the sodden triple meat.
Dandelion. Lodge of Sorceresses. Triss and Yen were supposed to gather the remnants.
They're working on it. Triss is upstairs, waiting for you. Yennefer's gone to Crippled Kate's.
Yen? At that portside dive? Why?
Didn't inform me. Imagine that. Ah, and that elf of yours moved into the Ruby Suite. Told me to tell you he's waiting, too.
Gave him your best room?
He didn't exactly ask. I prepared another room for him, but he blew past me and locked himself in the Ruby. Hasn't peeked out since. Barely eats, drinks only water, and the only thing I've heard from him is, I wish to know when Gwynblade and Zuriel arrive.
Thanks. Looks like I'll have my hands full.
For heroic deeds, but the man, well, you know.
Need a hanky? Gotta admit, never expected this of you.
You humans have, unusual tastes. How did you fare on Bald Mountain?
Need to ask? You're a sage.
I ask as a courtesy. A concept you clearly forgot when you left without uttering a word.
Ciri was in a hurry.
I know, so she wrote in her letter. But that is not my concern. You eliminated Imlerith adeptly. So adeptly you might say you inspired me.
Skip the guessing games. I'm tired.
The loss of one of his great generals has weakened Eredin significantly. 2 others remain.
How do we get rid of them?
Caranthir is a loyalist, but Gels, that is another story. He was a devoted follower of our former king. And as it happens, Eredin poisoned our beloved ruler.
You make it sound important. So, guess it's not exactly common knowledge.
I'd even call it a secret.
How do you manage to hide it?
Oh, I assure you he's excellent at covering his tracks, though not terribly subtle. But I'm even better at uncovering them.
Haven't mentioned killing Gels.
Such drastic means are not always necessary.
So you probably plan to offer him a deal.
Brilliant deduction. Bravo.
Fine. So what do you propose?
Why to bring Gels here? Show him the truth of what happened.
Fabulous plan, if we only knew where to find him.
We do. In the land of the NL.
Land of the NL?
You don't recall. After all, you did travel with Eredin for some time. The land of the Elder folk. The world where we arrived centuries ago. A world that is now our home. The Red Riders come from there. And it is there where we will find Gels.
Think you're forgetting something. You and Ciri might know how to travel between worlds, but me? Not so much.
You clearly know there are many other worlds apart from the one where we now stand. They're linked by passages, hidden gateways that afford travel from one world to another. Of course, few know of these gateways. Even fewer can locate them.
Elven sages, for example?
For example. One such passage will open soon near where we are, fortuitously enough. Between this noble edifice and the butcher's yard. That's our chance. Shall we go?
Meet you there. Gotta see to something along the way.
Hurry. I'd rather not loiter in the street any longer than necessary.
Greetings, Triss.
Have you lost your mind? You went after Imlerith by yourselves? To the Sabbath? How could you put Ciri in danger?
Ciri had to do it. I couldn't let her go alone. You'd have done the same in my boots. Besides, I'd never let anything happen to Ciri. You know that. Past burning pyres on the way into town. Non-humans on them.
Things grow worse by the day. No mages left in the city, so the hunters had to find someone else to victimize. We need to resolve everything as quickly as possible and leave Novigrad.
Any success with the Lodge? Anyone out there willing to help?
It doesn't look good. Ida outright refused, while Francesca won't budge from her little realm with a war raging. We don't know about Fringilla. Haven't been able to contact her.
And the others? Kira? Margarita? Philippa?
Kira? I thought you, of all people, would know.
Few can refuse a sorceress. And Kira Metz certainly had her ways. But when she demanded the Mage Alexander's notes, I had to turn her down. Kira needed that, as she needed the impetus to start anew. She found it where she least expected to. Years later, known for discovering the cure for the Catriona plague, she was thankful none remembered her time in hiding as a village witch. I've seen worse matches. Hope things work out for them.
I hope they work out for us, and we actually find Philippa and Rita.
Know where they are?
Yennefer's looking into Rita's whereabouts. I have to figure out where Philippa is.
So, learn anything?
A few things that could be interesting. Prefer the long version or the short?
Tell me everything. I want the details.
After fleeing Loch Muin, Philippa ended up here in Novigrad. She sought help from her former lover, the sorcerer Arthur de Vlister.
Philippa and a former lover? Something tells me happily ever after is not how that story ends.
Philippa had made a fool of him once. Arthur was out for revenge. He convinced her she'd be safest as an owl. She transformed, and he placed a Dimeridian band on her leg. The mage hunt started shortly afterwards. Sadly, Arthur fell victim. They auctioned off his estate. Just so happened a certain dwarven acquaintance of ours stumbled on the auction.
Zoltan. Huh. So Philippa was here under our noses the whole time?
Was, precisely. Zoltan lost her in a card game a few days ago.
Kidding, right?
Sadly, no. A man showed up here, fleeced Zoltan bare, then proposed they play for the owl. Naturally, he won, then politely thanked Zoltan for the game and left.
Who was it? Know where he lives?
He's not from here. No one knows him.
Great. We got any leads?
We have this.
That Philippa the Owl's feather? Thinking divination?
Specifically hydromancy, and a form of sortilege. We need a fountain where we won't be disturbed.
Need to take care of something first. Meet you somewhere later?
Fine. The fountain outside the Passiflora. And hurry, please.
much for the night,